It's really great to be here in San Bernardino. And it's nice to see you. We'd like to do something off our first album now. Take it down.
The Ramones, Johnny, Tommy, Joey, Dee Dee, and later Marky and others, are one of the truly legendary groups in rock and roll history. Their first album, simply titled Ramones, was released in 1976 and jump-started the punk rock movement. As proof of the group's stature and influence as music icons, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2002. The band, minus their late singer Joey Ramone, attended the ceremony and accepted their award. Sadly, today all 4 original members of the group have passed away. The first and only Inland Empire appearance by the original Ramones lineup took place on March 11, 1977. It occurred at the Eros Bogart Club on East Street in San Bernardino. The club was also known for hosting an early appearance by another Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band, Van Halen. The second Ramones Inland Empire appearance was perhaps their most controversial. It took place on December 1, 1978, at the Swing Auditorium in San Bernardino. By this time, drummer Tommy had left the band and was replaced by Marky. The punk band opened for the heavy metal band Black Sabbath. It turned out to be the concert double bill from hell. This IE show made headline news in the December 4th living section of the San Bernardino Sun newspaper. Staff writer Mark Lundahl, in part, wrote, "Opening for Black Sabbath was one of the most influential new wave bands the United States has produced, the Ramones. The group has captured the attention and adulation of a small cult across the country and across the ocean, but it apparently has a long way to go before it wins over San Bernardino." When the band took to the stage, the crowd started to direct negative energy at it almost immediately. First it was yells, then the middle finger salute. Soon a few Coke cups, popcorn boxes, and tomatoes were thrown at the stage. The rowdy activity then snowballed into a steady rain of hurled trash. Through it all, almost, the Ramones remained committed to their performance. They kept up a steady pace and ran quickly through their short songs, holding their heads firmly against the storm of debris. When lead singer Joey Ramone was hit squarely on the head with a filled Coke cup, some in the audience exploded with glee, and the rain became heavier. Then in the middle of Surfing Bird, an old minor hit originally recorded by a group called the Trashmen, the band suddenly left. San Bernardino had just thrown the Ramones off the stage. No one in the band or audience was hurt, but in their dressing room afterwards, the Ramones were shaken and upset. "Did you see that stage? There are broken whiskey bottles on it," sputtered an animated Johnny Ramone. "I was scared. We didn't even get halfway through our set." Dee Dee Ramone added, "There were kids out there giving me the cross sign with their fingers." Johnny continued, "This is the worst I've ever seen. I think these people came to hear Black Sabbath, and I guess Black Sabbath fans are not our fans," said Marky Ramone. Interviews with some audience members confirmed this. "Punk bunk" was one crowd member's reaction to the band. Others used a variety of obscenities to describe their feelings. Some of the cleaner reactions:
"They weren't musicians. They just shook their heads around.
They were terrible.
They were off-key.
It was music for beachcombers.
Purdue doesn't need this kind of junk."
Other bands have been unpopular with Swing Auditorium crowds, but they were never the target of a trash war. Why this one? One fan who came to see the Ramones said it happened because the crowd felt threatened by the group. Another thought the audience probably came in with a preconceived idea of how it was supposed to react to the band.
That's the way they want it.
People who play punk like pain.
In the aftermath, the tall, thin, and pasty-complexioned Joey Ramone withdrew to the back of the dressing room with his bleach-blonde girlfriend and quietly watched the other agitated band members behind his darkened glasses. "I don't understand. Back a few years ago, we listened to Black Sabbath, too," Joey muttered in a soft-spoken manner. "We are now where Black Sabbath was 10 years ago. Black Sabbath, New Wave, it's all rock and roll. Labels are bull. I think they'll come around." Joey paused and then added, "I think we made a few fans tonight." In his book, Hey Ho, Let's Go, The Story of the Ramones, author Everett True quoted Joey Ramone as saying, "It was when we started playing Surfin' Bird, and everything in the world came on. It started raining carburetors and whiskey bottles. The stage manager was about 65, and he told us he hadn't seen anything like it since the Stones first played America. Someone threw an ice pick, and it landed right next to Joey's foot. That was in San Bernardino, California." In a July 2014 article on the Spin magazine website, musician-writer John Worster was mourning the passing of drummer Tommy Ramone. As part of the story, he wrote about the Ramones' disastrous opening for Black Sabbath at the Swing Auditorium. "I remembered a story record producer Scott Solter once told me. On December 1st, 1978, Scott and his brother went to see Black Sabbath on their Never Say Die tour at the Swing Auditorium in San Bernardino, California. Van Halen, whose debut album was tearing up the charts, had been opening much of the tour, but were not on the bill in San Bernardino. That night, the job of warming up thousands of stoned, Ozzy-devoted headbangers fell to 4 leather-jacketed minimalist rockers from Forest Hills, Queens, the Ramones. As you can imagine, the Sabbath fans didn't take to the Ramones' stripped-down, sped-up, 2-minute blasts of bubblegum punk. It only took a couple songs before the bottles started flying. Eventually, the rain of garbage became too much to contend with, and the Ramones abandoned the stage. But before surrendering his post, Dee Ramone marched to the front of the stage, stared down the audience, and with his bass held over his head said, "F you, we're the future." He was right. Though they never sold massive amounts of records, the Ramones changed the course of rock and roll and influenced popular culture in a way only a handful of artists have. The city of Claremont is located right next to the border between Los Angeles and San Bernardino counties. While not technically located in the IE, for our purposes it will be considered part of the Inland Empire's fringe area. So under that criteria, the Ramones played their 3rd IE area concert on November 5th, 1979, in the Garrison Theater on the campus of the Claremont Colleges. Gary Myrick and the Figures opened the show. The band was also interviewed on KSPC, the college FM radio station. The first US Festival took place September 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 1982, at Glen Helen Regional Park in Devore, San Bernardino, with an all-star lineup of talent. Total attendance for the 3 days was some 400,000 people. The Ramones played on the first day with other so-called New Wave groups that followed in their footsteps. This would be their 4th IE appearance. This was perhaps one of the largest number of people that the band had ever performed in front of, if not the largest. Pomona is another one of those fringe Inland Empire cities located near the border between San Bernardino and LA counties. On November 21st, 1984, the Ramones played their 5th IE area concert at the Pomona Valley Auditorium. By this time, drummer Marky Ramone had left the band and was replaced by Richie Ramone. Agent Orange and Chardon Square opened for them in Pomona. On September 22, 1986, the Ramones played their 6th Inland Empire concert at Club Metro in Riverside. Channel 3 and Chardon Square opened for them. There was a Mike Stevens review of the concert in the 9/23/86 San Bernardino Sun newspaper. The article in part read, "The musicians who are the core of the group, Johnny on guitar, Dee Dee on bass, and Richie on drums, were in top form." Then the reviewer implied that Joey Ramone had an off night when he wrote, "Joey on vocals, however, couldn't keep the frenzied pace." His attempts at Ramones classics were sloppy, set against the razor-sharp background of his partners. The 1986 Riverside concert was to be the last IE appearance of the Ramones. The band would continue for another 10 years before calling it quits in 1996.